I want to highlight a comment that was left by a woman. And it is a comment that I get quite frequently because one of the things I find interesting when women come to see my advice is that I give a lot of advice to guys that is not the norm advice that they've been getting fed their whole lives. And unfortunately, not only do men fall for this advice and think it's going to work and then it doesn't, but women unfortunately also fall for it and then think that that's how they're going to actually be attracted if men do these things that they're being lied to about men having to do. Spoiler, I have found that most of the things that we're taught to do are actually things that work against us. I wrote a whole book about that, which you can get the website called No Girls for You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams. And all I talk about in that book is why all the things you're trying to do right now as a guy to get women actually causes you to lose them, right? So this is an example of one of those things. I did a video called Confirming Dates Kills Attraction. And I will specify one more time that for you guys watching, I say, when you're planning a date with a woman, on that phone call or on that text stream, you need to get all the details out when you're asking her out. So if you want to take her out to dinner, you say, hey, so-and-so, want to see if you're free this week. Oh my God, I'm so free. I'd love to go out. Great. I have a place I want to take you to. I'm available at this day at this time to take you to this place. Is that cool with you? Oh my God, that's amazing. Great. You set the details then. At the point that you as the guy set the details, there is no need to further confirm a date. And also, you should be trying to plan dates out within a day or two of it happening. So if it's like a Tuesday, you're planning for a Wednesday or Thursday. If it so happens that it's Tuesday and you're planning for Sunday, even then, just in my personal experience, I have found that confirming for that date is not necessary since, again, I'm doing it when I'm asking for the date. And I find usually by around like Saturday or so, if a woman hasn't heard me reach out to her and she's really highly interested, she'll reach out to me. Hey, Harry, just wanted to make sure our date's still on. Oh, yeah, it's still on. Okay, great. See you then. Great. Fantastic. So once I figured out the secret of like, I don't have to confirm dates, I just stopped doing it. And lo and behold, would you believe that even though I stopped confirming dates, all the women that I asked out have magically been able to show up for the date? Like, it's amazing. Like, I didn't have to send them a reminder because maybe they had high interest. Maybe they wanted to get taken on a date. I don't know. I just know I stopped doing that. And lo and behold, women still wanted to go on dates. Whereas before, when I was sending reconfirmation text, about half of those women would cancel. Now, there's psychology behind why that is, but one of the big nuggets is this, is that when you reconfirm for a date, you're projecting out to her that you don't even think you're good enough for her to remember the date, which makes her think, but is he good enough? Like, should I want this date? And now she's not going to be interested. Again, some of this psychology to you guys may sound stupid. You may think, but if she really liked me, she'd still keep the date. If I confirm, I'm just saying in terms of the probability of things, I found my probability of women keeping dates went up when I looked more confident by not confirming dates. So with that said, this woman disagrees with me. And she says the following. She says, absolutely not. Men do the opposite. We love follow through and check-ins. Why? Because as women, we see and experience all types of guys and their habits. Actually planning a date, making reservations, asking for dietary restrictions or allergies, and setting up the date is sexy. Pause. Nowhere in what I said did I tell guys not to do that. If anything, I said, do all of that stuff when you're first setting up the date, but don't do the thing that I did a show a couple weeks ago where a guy was like on a Sunday, hey, let's go out on a date next week. And the girl's like, awesome. And then he made her wait a week to be like, hey, so are we still on for the date? One, looks weak. Number two, why didn't he plan a date when he was asking her out? This is why you as the guy need to always have a minimum of 3 locations in town you already have in your head when you're planning those first dates. Also, nothing she's technically saying is bad, except for when it should be happening. This is the kind of behavior women want from their boyfriends. So let's go back and read what she said, right? If she was already in a relationship with the guy, yes, she would want a guy that plans a date, which even in the dating phase you should do, right? But making reservations, asking for restrictions, setting up the date is sexy. Yes. And women want all that stuff from guys that they're already in relationships with. And then for guys that they're just starting to date, this is how guys better prove themselves by doing all this stuff, which I agree guys should do. It's just, I don't believe in the confirming part. Like none of this stuff has to do with confirming a date later on, right? Like if you plan the date, made the reservation, asked for the restrictions, and then set up the date, on the call that you're making to her to make the date, then you've done all that stuff. Confirming doesn't now make this extra. It just makes it an extra step that is not necessary. Women have memories like elephants. If you set a date for them, they're not going to forget unless they are not interested or have a low level of interest, in which case you're the option that she'll do if nothing else better comes along. You want those women to flake. But as a general rule, when you're setting up a date, if you set up all the stuff on the call or on the text when you're setting it up, you don't need to confirm later. So then she says, if you made reservations for Friday and it's Monday, so you call her up on a Monday, they say, hey, let's go out on Friday, right? She says, text her 2 days in advance to let her know that you're excited to see her on Friday at the time you set. But here's the problem. Like, you already know as the guy you're excited. And now you could be saying, but she doesn't know I'm excited. You've called her up to say, hey, I'm going to take out 2 hours of my time to show you a great time out on a date. By doing this, I'm indicating to you I'm more than willing to spend money on you. And also, if I take you out there, it may not happen on the first date, but there's a chance I'll get a kiss, a hug, or hook up out of it. In what way is a guy not going to be excited about a date that he called for to set up? So her logic is off on this point. But we could say, hey, she's projecting. Maybe she's thinking the way that guys think about dating is the way women think about it. And so women is like, well, you know, where he needs to be hitting me up, because what she's not saying is the silent part, which is I need him to hit me up because secretly, if I don't want to go out with him, I have a few days now to come up with an excuse to give him as to why I can't go when he hits me up to confirm the date. I have found by not confirming the date, I never have to have that conversation. And somehow the women just magically know to show up. It's amazing, right? So then she says, reconfirming is important because it shows you respect her. But she knows that's not true, because she knows the fact that you asked her out and agreeing to spend money on her and take away your time to spend with her indicates on some level that you want to get to know her. Now, she's saying the respect aspect of things, but the reality is if this is the first date, you met her on a dating app or at a party, you don't know her enough to know at what level to respect her, but you're still showing respect by asking her on the date and agreeing to show her a good time. So again, don't buy into the lie. If he doesn't hit me up for confirmation text, he's disrespecting me. I will tell you now, women that have a high interest in you are not going to care. All they're going to care about is, are you going to show up? And in fact, they'll care so much, they will hit you up to see that you're going to hold to your promise. But you already know you're going to do that. And also, and this is the part that, you know, women like to admit, other two sexes, you know, because they'll say like, you know, well, if he doesn't hit me up, what if I don't know if he's going to show up and I'm all anxious and nervous? Of the two sexes, women can get away with being anxious and nervous towards dudes. But you as the guy do not look good showing anxiousness, nervousness, unsureness, and lacking self-confidence. And when you reconfirm a date, when you reach out to a woman and try to reconfirm a date, you're essentially saying, I don't think you're good enough for me. I don't think that I'm good enough for you to where you're going to actually remember that you had a date with me. So now I got to hit you up to remind you in the hopes that, oh my God, you're going to want to show up in the first place. And that is not a confident projection. And I'm all about teaching you guys things that are going to allow you to project confidence to women, because to her point, you don't know her early, right? So you have to do more things right early on than you do later down the road. If this were like date 8 or 10, I could say, okay, hypothetically, if you wanted to hit her up for a confirmation text, which I don't want you to do, but if you wanted to, you'd get away with it better after 8 dates when she knows you already versus that first date when she doesn't know how much confidence you have in yourself. And you're just trying to stack all the chips you can to show her, I'm a confident guy, I'm a guy that knows his worth, and you would be in your right mind to date me. And everything, little small thing you do that to you is like, it's no big deal, it shouldn't be that wrong in the grand scheme of things. I got news for you. To them, it's going to look like a major deal, and it's going to cut down on their attraction, even if they're not aware of it. And that's the thing. Most women are not aware of the things that don't attract them. All they know is, I don't know what happened. He hit me up to confirm the date, and I just felt this ick feeling, and I wanted to cancel. They can't explain why that happens. It just happens, and then you're left out in the cold because you don't know. She can't explain it, so she doesn't know. And everybody's just left wondering, but I just got to keep confirming these dates, but I don't know why they keep canceling. And like, they're not aware if these things are tied together, you know? So the last thing she says is, if you keep things vague for Friday dates and don't have a plan and don't follow up with her, she's going to move on. Well, that part I agree with. If you're hitting up a woman saying, hey, let's go on a date Friday, and you don't have a plan, yeah, she's probably going to flake. But if you hit her up and say, hey, it's Monday now, I have a busy week, but I want to take you out Friday. let me know if you're free. I got this place and this place we can go to. Let me know if you're free and what time you're free. Then she knows that is a concrete plan. That is not I'm going to confirm with you on Thursday, then pick out the plan that we're going to do for the date. That's when you're going to have women be really upset and not want to go on dates with you. But assuming you're making all the plans when you first set the date, I will tell you from personal experience, not from a woman that's putting out a hypothetical, but from personal experience, women will keep the dates. They are smart and their brains work and they know how to hold on to 4 days of remembering that there's a date coming. So this is why I get mad with women about this kind of stuff, because it's almost like they want us on one hand to see them as smart and intelligent and independent. But then when it comes to asking for dates, they want us to act like they're dumb. Like they can't remember 4 days of a week before a date's coming. Like you're telling me, women, that you're trying to meet the love of your life. And this guy you think is handsome and gorgeous is coming along and saying, hey, it's Monday. I want to take you out Friday. And you're going to somehow by Thursday forget that a date was even scheduled if he doesn't reconfirm. That is stupid. And I know this because I have women friends, like it's March now as I'm recording this, right? I have women friends that are making plans to take vacations in June. So are you telling me if somebody doesn't remind her, hey, just so you know, you have a trip to Italy coming up in June, that they're going to forget? It's not going to happen because women are smart. So I like to treat women like they're smart, and smart women can remember a date at the point that I, as the guy, set it up. And that's why reconfirming dates is not necessary. And I can tell for sure for this woman, as much as she wants to argue that point, if she has ever come across a guy that she met at a party or online dating or in a group of friends or whatever, that she found a 10 out of 10 guy, he's got the right job, he smells good, he's got the right height, all that stuff. And he said, hey, I'm going out of the country, but in 2 weeks when I get back on Tuesday, I'm going to take you out. Do you think she wouldn't be sitting there chomping at the bit? Oh God, that Tuesday's coming soon. Oh, it's 14 more days. It's 12 more days. It's 8 more days. Oh my God, I can't wait. He comes. He's coming 3 more days. Like she would be sitting there just waiting, and she wouldn't have to hear a confirmation from him to be excited about it happening. If anything, she would hit him up and say, hey, you're gonna be back in the country in 2 or 3 days. I can't wait to see you. Like she would do that. And that's what you want. You want to be able to leave space for women to give up their cards. And the easiest way to do that also is not to confirm dates, because I can assure you, I told one of my guy friends a story today. A few years ago, there was a girl I wanted to take out, like it was a close friend of mine, and she was like not wanting to do it, right? And I was just like, look, like we don't have to make it. I'm not asking you to marry me. I just want to, go on this date because I've always wanted to see what it would be like. We get along great as friends, and I want to see what that would look like possibly in a dating path. And so I set the date up like 5 days in advance, right? And I was like, okay, she's probably not going to want to do the date. She's probably going to cancel. But you know what? You got to look confident. You got to go in there and just act like the thing's supposed to happen. So the day of the date gets here, right? We have our date set for 6 p.m. It is 5:50. And I'm still thinking at any moment now she's going to call and cancel. But you can't be the one. You, Harry, cannot be the one to try to call her or to say, hey, is the date still on? Call and reconfirm, all that stuff. Just let her what's going to happen. But assuming she doesn't call you to cancel, you're going to show up on time at 6 o'clock for the date. She hits me up at 5:52. And I'm thinking, okay, here's the cancellation. And I pick up the phone and she says, hey, so is our date still on? Again, this girl that was not excited to go on a date with me. Hey, is our date still on? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just putting my shoes on. I'm about to walk out the door. Oh, okay, cool. See you soon. And that was a girl that didn't want to go out with me, but didn't cancel on me. And part of that was I didn't call to reconfirm. And we had a great time. We didn't end up getting romantic or anything like that, but we still got to have the date, have a good time. But that's the point, guys, is that you show more confidence when you set the date. And you're like, you don't need to confirm, because as the guy, you're going to be a man of your word and show up. It's on her to show up as a woman of her word and agree to it. And if she doesn't, if she flakes out because you didn't confirm, that was a woman that didn't have high interest anyway. You're one out. You didn't waste any time, energy, or effort, okay? But yeah, confirming dates ultimately is not necessary. Now, with that said, I will say, if you do set a date a week out, hypothetically, you have a better shot at being able to get away with confirming a date. And even then, you shouldn't be doing it like, hey, so are we still on? Asking questions looks weak. Instead, say some crap like, just got my shoes for the date tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. Or the morning of, be like, hey, babe, can't wait to see you tonight. This place is going to be awesome. But do not send the question of, are we still on for the date? Do you still want to go? Is everything like, anytime you ask questions early on in the process of dating as it pertains to, hey, do you have interest in seeing me? It makes you look weak, and women are heading for the hills. So that's just a little olive branch to those of you guys that still are apprehensive about not confirming. But I'm just saying from my personal experience, it has yet to be a necessary thing for me to do in order to get dates. Even with, because I know people say like, that's only for like women that want to be manipulated. But no, with well-meaning women, with high-end women, with attractive women, they just want the date. And they do not need you to confirm to make it happen. So hopefully this gives some insight more so into the whole confirming thing. I'm sure I will do many more videos in the future because people keep asking about it and trying to disagree with me. And hey, all I can say is this. I give dating advice based on my experience. My experience has shown me that when I try to confirm dates, half of them cancel. When I don't confirm dates, it's like 99% of them keep the date. So why would I then go back to confirming dates? Just saying. But hey, you got to try it out on your own. And when I first started not confirming dates, I was also very nervous. Like, oh my God, if I don't confirm, how are they going to know? And I was like, they're going to know because I asked them for the date and I planned a date. And I said Tuesday at 7. And if it was with tickets, I already got the tickets. Like I've done everything to show her that this date's going to happen. What more? Why am I going to, hey, I'm just going to call you to confirm that date that I set up. We're going to still do it. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Comment here says, I've had bad luck with mentioning anything about the date leading up to it, whether it's a statement or a question. Yeah, I just found in my personal life, like I said, me trying to, and again, there were women that were like wanting to go out with me, excited. I'd hit them up. Hey, so just want to confirm for the date that you're still, and then all of a sudden it's like last minute, oh, something came up. It's just something about the psychology of confirming dates I just found doesn't work well. So, and hey, to be fair, that may not be every guy's experience. I can only give you guys like notes based on what's worked for me. But I know some of the guys that I've also coached have said things like, once I pulled back a bit, once I stopped texting so much, once I stopped confirming, lo and behold, more women wanted to date me. So I just go with the results. Now, if somebody's able to show me, hey, I confirmed a date twice before I went on this date and they still showed up, then hey, show me that evidence. I will be happy to show it on this show. If you got a text or whatever. But in my personal life, that's not what was going on, you know?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class.